perplexed about this, that behold, two men stood by them in shining garments. And as they were afraid and bowed their faces to the earth, these two men said to them, "Why do you seek the living among the dead? He's not here. He is risen. Remember how he spoke to you when he was still in Galilee, saying, 'The Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and the third day rise again?'" And they remembered his words, and they returned from the tomb and told all these things to the 11 and to all the rest. And it was Mary Magdalene and Joanna and Mary the mother of James and the other women with them who told these things to the apostles. And their words seemed to them like idle tales, and they did not believe them. But Peter, he arose and he ran to the tomb, and stooping down, he saw the linen clothes lying by themselves, and he departed, marveling to himself at what had happened. Several years ago, Newsweek magazine carried an article on the subject of the resurrection. Always interesting to see what the secular people say about the things we believe. The article began with a reference to the scripture which we just read. And this is what Newsweek said about it. As the Gospels tell it, the women and the men who stared at Jesus' empty tomb were not inclined to believe the good news. Frightened and scattered, fearful that they had been misled, the apostles themselves were slow to accept the idea of Christ's resurrection from the dead. And yet, just as Easter is the holiest day in the Christian year, so is the resurrection the deepest wellspring of Christian faith and hope. For if God can raise Jesus to everlasting life, mankind can also expect to dwell with him in heaven. That's not bad for a secular newspaper. Kenneth Woodward, who wrote that article, put the importance of Easter in perspective when he said, "The resurrection of Jesus Christ is the only hope we have of a future after death."